All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best podcast, web show, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Talking about everything new with a U. I am one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow, and the reports are in, and Dead Guy crushed it tonight at the Decibel Metal Fest. Moving along, I have my other part of my hosting duo here, Mr. Tim Anderson Jr., Notorious TM. Tim, how's it going?
Great.
And we have some awesome guests for us tonight, right? We have a band which I think if you're in the sound of my voice and you're listening to the show, you're really going to like what they got coming out. We have Nathan and Riley from Flashback. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
We are definitely stoked. And you are joining us from Alberta? Calgary.
Close. Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow.
No,
okay.
Regina, Saskatchewan.
Regina. Okay.
That's why we just call ourselves American new metal. I'm not narrowing it down. No one knows what the fuck Regina is.
And before you even get started, you guys better have fucking hoodies.
So we gotta tell you guys this story, right? Every band we have on, eventually the conversation comes to like, where can we buy your merch? Where can people find you? And Tim is a big hoodie fan, and every band we have on is from the fucking American South. So we have like Purity from Vegas on, and Tim goes, "Do you guys have hoodies?" They look at him like, "Yo, what?" And then we have a band from Texas, and Tim's like, "Yo, you guys have hoodies?" And they're like, "What are you fucking talking about?" So Tim is like, "Yo, these guys are from Canada. If they don't have hoodies, we're gonna have problems."
Yeah, they're called bunny hugs here.
I'll take one.
So
let me know what the web store is.
So you guys have done. You did a 3-song EP, a 4-song EP earlier?
Yeah, our first release was I think 5 or 6 songs. Very much in the vein of like, what is that band? Prong?
Leeway, Prong.
Yeah.
Higher Power was like pretty big.
I can hear the Prong. Now that I think about it, I can hear the Prong influence. Okay.
Definitely more hardcore influence on that first EP.
And it's great, right? But I will say this, right? This one is fucking mind-blowing. Like, and for all of our listeners, this new EP is gonna melt your fucking brain. Like, it really is. So let's talk about that a little bit before we go into like Tim and I's thoughts, because you listeners, you watchers, Tim and I have heard this thing already, and no, we're not kidding. It is going to be amazing. But so Nathan, Riley, tell us a little bit about how this came about, right? Like what was like, hey, we're going to do another EP and we're really going to lean into the new metal sound, but we're going to do it well. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, after like the first EP, like we wanted to like get moving on a second EP pretty quick. And like some of the like first track on the new EP is like 2 years old at this point. And like that was like already trying to tap into like some new metal shit, because we started adding like break beats and stuff to like some of like the new vibes that were going on. And then I don't know, it's just been like 2 years of kind of like compiling tracks for us. And like that, like the reason the album kind of like touches on so many different like areas is because it's like 2 years of like us going through different phases in like our creativity.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually amalgamated into like 6 of our best songs or whatever. And yeah, we just like basically like once we like added Emma, like our DJ / like keyboard player, the ability to have like samples and keyboards and synth and stuff like opened up a whole other world for us that lets us into like some of that like Linkin Park influence or whatever, like just like that new metal electronic kind of vibe over top of these riffs. And that's kind of why the EP sounds the way it does now. It's a whole different ballgame for us.
Yeah, it is. I mean, truth be told, right? And I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. Like, it really is fucking good, to the point where Tim got to listen before I got a chance to, and he's texting me like, "Yo, have you listened to this yet?" And I'm like, "No," and he's like, all caps, "Well, then what the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Okay, hold on. Let me tell my boss I'll be right back. Let me switch computers and uninstall this." But yeah, I mean, we always talk about on the show, we talk a lot about the idea of writing good songs, and you can have every single new metal trick in the book, right? You can do makeup, no makeup, right? 9 guys, 2 guys, whatever. You need to have good songs because they need to resonate. And when I listened to this EP, I mean, I took all my notes here. You can't see because my fucking screen, but I actually went song by song and I was taking notes, and I'm like, the thing that sticks out to me, Tim, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. All the choruses work perfectly in every single song. There's the abrasive ones, right? There's the aggressive ones, but then there's the ones that I want to call them clean because they're not clean, but they're actually sung, and they all work. Like they all work, which I was kind of like, I was listening to Get On This Moment Alone, and I'm like, fuck, these guys really got this nailed. Like shit. Like what is it, like distilled new metal, right? The summer where they found the fountain of new metal and they're drinking from it. It really works. What were your thoughts, Tim?
I texted Nathan and I was like, dude, seriously, amazing. Like the first listen, I was like, I gotta put this on again. Like, holy shit, that was good.
Right?
I mean, because I thought the 2-song EP was fucking fantastic. Because I remember when we talked on Ill Street about Stepping Stone, and then you told me about, you're like, yeah, I have a new metal band. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, so when you coming on my other show? And then finally we're talking. But I remember hearing that and I was just like, dude, fucking new metal is back. But you guys killed it on that one. And then this record is, I mean, Crack in the Mirror, dude. What a fucking jam, dude.
That keyboard part.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a fucking earworm. I find myself walking through the house, like whistling it to myself, like beep, 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 beep. And you know, I've always got music going on up there, and I'm nodding my head, and the wife is like, "What are you fucking doing?" I'm like, "Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone." Because I can still hear. I can close my eyes right now, and I can beep, 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 beep. It works though. Like it really, truly works. And then while we're on the topic of on the topic of Crack in the Mirror, let's talk about the video. Right, you guys just released the video, and I'm like, this is fucking perfect. So let's talk about that. Where did the idea come from? I mean, because you have like the Code Orange, new metal piece, you have the vampires, right? Like let's talk about that. Where did that idea spring from?
Yeah, I think like quite a while ago when we were discussing the idea of a music video, Emma and I, who are like Emma's been in fashion design her whole life and is like just always going for it, like over the top in everything she does. And we were chatting about what we want to do for a music video, and her and I came up with this insane idea about cyborg vampires like transporting everyone into the Matrix. And like when we were discussing it, I was kind of on the fence. I was like, man, this sounds like some insane, like corny ass Fall Out Boy music video. And we pitched it to the chat, and everyone's just like, I don't know, you know. And then Emma and I are still super hyped on the idea, trying to push it. And eventually I was talking to my buddy, Wyatt, who works for Tandem Visuals, which is like a local video production company in the city. And I was like, yo, like, we're interested in doing a music video. Like, are you on this like wave? And I kind of pitched the idea to him, and he's just like, say no more, you know, like he was just all in. And so when I told everyone in the band, I was like, man, like Tandem's in on this, like, let's fucking go. Everyone just bought it immediately. And so we just fucking absolutely went for it. We rented like this big sound stage, just a massive warehouse. Set design, we went in there at like midnight the night before. As soon as we got access, we built this big wooden rig. Our bassist works construction, and so, you know, he built our little Matrix ass Taj Mahal, hung wires over it and everything, and just really went for it.
Because it's awesome. Like it's and one of the best parts about new metal as a genre, right, is it's enjoyable to listen to. Like I love fucking hardcore. I do. I love hardcore. I love the emotion. I love the intensity. I love the fucking insane musicianship that comes with like some extreme metal. But new metal is just fucking fun, right? It's just fun, and it's meant to be fun, right? You don't need to be like, you know, you don't need to be Rage Against the Machine all the time, and you don't need to be blasting at 280 BPM, like growling the whole time, right? And the song, I mean, the video was done, and I was like, fuck, repeat. Like half your plays and just me just hitting repeat, because it's like, and that's the thing, like not only is the video drum, it's a catchy song. It's a truly catchy song. Like I you know, I'm looking at my notes. I went track by track, and I was taking notes, and I'm like, okay, the chorus. I love this chorus. The sing chorus works. And then at one point, I'm like, it's reality.exe. I'm like, I wrote a note where I put Turnstile ? Because there are parts where it sounds like the new Turnstile record, right? Which I mean, I don't know why people want to hate on Turnstile. They are, to me, one of the few hardcore bands that is truly blazing their own path, which I think is something to be said, right?
Yeah, it rules. And that's a big thing about Flashback is like we're all coming from the realm of hardcore for the most part. And you know, hardcore kids, they love to judge and they love to hate even more.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
we're just like the whole idea behind Flashback is just like we're doing what we want, we're doing it for ourselves, and we're doing it because it's fucking fun. And I think like we're all just having an absolute blast. Yeah, I could be in a room with a million people telling me, Flashback fucking sucks, and I'll leave that room being like, it's the best band I've ever been in because we're doing it for ourselves and we're just having fun.
Yeah, and you guys don't get it, so eat a dick, right? So
I just want to say this though: the word "fun" keeps coming up, and I said this to Jay. It's a fun record. Like it makes you smile listening to it.
Hell yeah.
Like you guys killed it, man. Like it's like all I can say. It's super fun to listen to.
Yeah, our listeners to the show and the viewers, you guys are in for a treat. You're all in for a treat. Let me ask you both. I mean, Nathan, Riley, did you guys grow up with new metal? Like, was that one of the things that got you into the music that you're into now? Like, who was your gateway drug? Was it Korn? Was it the Deftones? Who was it?
I was okay. So my musical background is like largely like death metal. Like the bands that I played in up until like a couple of years ago were like fucking serious death metal. You know what I mean? And new metal was like always a thing where like I super fucked with Slipknot, loved Slipknot, and then I like had like the typical like new metal. You know what I mean? Like because I was so fucking like metal elitist, But then also like late at night when no one's around, like I'm watching the Cold Chamber Loco video and shit. Like just kind of being like, why does this go?
Yep. It's like the simplest riffs, but it's so hard.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I owe my whole new metal thing largely in part to my older brother, which I think that is like the perfect description of new metal. It's like it was my older brother's music that I thought was just so fucking sick. I think Hybrid Theory was my first introduction, and then all the other introductory bands from there.
I think if someone in the hardcore metal genre doesn't think that Hybrid Theory at least has one good song, I think they're just lying to themselves.
Yeah,
I think that's the best records of all time, like across the board. It's
that
amazing.
record is perfect. It's got
a
perfect production. The songs, you cannot write better songs than that record.
Oh, it's insane. There's like a million producers on that thing. It's just perfect.
It is. I mean, it's mind-blowingly good, and I think
it is no surprise that they got as big as they did. Really, it's not a surprise.
I mean, I used to think when I was younger, I'm like, why does this dude have headphones on? It's so fucking stupid. Like, oh. But then like now, like I'm 38 years old and I'm like, dude, that is, like you said, one of the best records of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you really cannot get a better produced sounding record than it. I just,
for a debut, no less. It's not like they had a couple of albums to like work out the kinks and egos, like they got their egos out of the way. I mean, they literally came out the gate with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is any criticism you could level against that record, it's almost too perfect. It's almost too perfect, right? Like we were just Tim and I were just talking to the guys from 13, right? And they have a new album coming out, which is fucking amazing. And we were talking about the organic side of extreme music, where guys like Dave Lombardo, guys like Igor Cavalera, they weren't the cleanest drummers. They're kind of still sloppy, but that makes it enjoyable because you can hear in the intro to Zombie Prescription, when he's doing the hammer-ons, you can hear the point where he falls out of rhythm, right? You can hear it. It's the last bar before the vocalist comes in, right? And that makes it unique because you can know that it's a human playing that, right? Where as much as I love extreme drumming, sometimes it gets a little kind of like, yeah, it's great that they can play that fast, but it's too clinical. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to hear you fuck up.
Listen to the first Sepultura release.
Oh
my God, yeah.
His bass drum is all over the place, right? He sounds like my cat when he has an itch and he's like thump 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 thump. It is not clean.
That's a great example right there.
It really the breakdown in one of the top 5 breakdowns of all time is Dead Embryonic Cells. But you can hear Igor slip out of rhythm. He literally slips out of rhythm and then comes back in. And it's like, whatever, man, it's fucking metal. It's supposed to be fun. So
yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
But then there's something said about like with Hybrid Theory, like it being as perfect sounding of a record as it is. Like, and like Flashback, like we've kind of like tried to tap into to just like really high production value that is like, pretty like perfect performances and stuff. And that just like kind of plays into like how digital the record is. Like that's the vibe, is it being super digital, you know? And like Hybrid Theory is that too, you know? It's like
Oh yeah.
Mm.
kind of all about like computers and shit and like fucking like to the grid like perfectness, you know what I mean? Whereas something like if I were to go make a grimy death record tomorrow, I would fucking want it to be sloppy as hell and like
Hell
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, it sounded like it was recorded on a boombox sitting next to like the bass drum, right? Speaking of digital, did anybody check out the Vatican 8-bit remix album that they just put out on Friday?
And I put it in my Spotify queue. It is definitely to be listened to.
It literally sounds like Ninja Gaiden. Like if you remember playing Ninja Gaiden on the original Nintendo, I put it on and I had it on in the background, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like I should be playing video games. Like they nail it. They nail that sound.
So what
go on, Tim.
bands, what death metal bands were you in? Because now I want to know.
well, so like all through high school and then for a couple of years out of high school, I played in this band called Cythra, and we
Okay.
were like that was my first band, so like it went through like quite a few phases, but by the end of it we were like a very extreme like dissonant death metal band, like really influenced by like Gorguts and like
okay.
full of we did an album that was like one 30-minute song that like looped into like in like a perfect loop or whatever. Yeah, I was just like really into like dissonant death metal, like that kind of wave of like Gorguts, Artificial Brain,
Oh, okay.
shit like that. I was also really into Rivers of the Nile.
Dude, that new record, it's fucking incredible.
Haven't checked it yet. I'm gonna give it like a proper listen, you know, because
Headphones. It's
I've
incredible.
like following that band since like their first album, and like Cythra like had the opportunity to play with them on like quite a few occasions, and like I kind of got to know those guys a bit. And like when Owls came out, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, you guys, like this is too good. And I feel like they really went fucking in on this new one, so I'm gonna give it like a big headphone listen for sure.
Dude, it's got everything you like with Rivers, but they have this special sound that they just did. I don't know what they're doing over there, because they're like an hour from me, not even.
Mhm.
They're that record, man. I just know they must have sat down and were like, we're gonna change the fucking scene, because that record is incredible. And I
Yeah,
really think after this, you should really sit down and listen to that record.
I'm excited to listen to it. Like the singles they put out are really cool, and like seems like it's going in the most natural direction for them.
Yeah.
Also pushing it like even further.
That's
yeah.
what I'm trying to say. It's just pushing it to somewhere I've never heard before.
They're such a dope band and like such cool people. Like I feel like part of the reason they've taken off as much as they have is because they're just so nice to everyone that comes to their shows.
Yeah.
Have any of them on Facebook? Like they just got so many people who are like, yeah, I fucking like met you guys at a show and you're nice to me and now I fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah.
It says something about us as people though, as humans, right? Like just being the act of being nice to somebody enthralls people. It's like, man, how many assholes are there really out there, right? Like,
Dude,
I mean,
think about the amount of people you encounter on tour that like puts a bad taste in your mouth, like touring in a hardcore band.
oh, I
So-
can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't fuck with your band because you were such a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually, and Nathan, you Stepping Stone, right? You played in Stepping Stone?
Yep.
I actually saw you guys at Championship Bar and Grill up in Trenton with Peace of Mind on site.
Yeah.
It was a great show. You guys put on an awesome show. That last album you guys did, what was it? Welcome to the Junkyard?
Escape from the Junkyard.
Escape from the Junkyard. Yeah, that was the you guys had me nailed at the fucking cover, because the aesthetics on the cover, I'm like, yes, yes, I'm here for this, right? And then look at the bands that have aped that, right? Dead Heat arguably has aped that cover milieu, right? It's like that 80s, like I'm gonna say it, like I like the Dead Heat album, but when I looked at their cover and I looked at yours, I'm like, it's in the same vein, right? They found the same 70s guy to draw it out on a Trapper Keeper, and this is the cover.
And Dead Heat, like that, what a fun fucking band. Like I
Yeah.
think that it's very similar way of Stepping Stone. It's just like, let's just go for it. Just go crazy.
Right. There's something to be said about having fun. So let me ask you, Nathan, what else are you listening to these days?
Man, that's a great question. Not much. I'm pretty stuck in my ways of just like listening to the same shit I listened to throughout high school. Like I always have Third Eye Blind on repeat. I always have Linkin Park and Deftones going. Fuck, man. Yeah, not much new. I'm pretty bad for that.
No. I mean, it's been my experience when you talk to a lot of guys who are in bands, they don't listen to a lot of they're not always listening to the most recent thing. And it's mainly because they don't want to pollute their own material, right? Like I get that, right? Like, I mean, not everybody can be fucking the insane Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder, where he listens to fucking, you want to talk about death metal. He listens to shit. I'm like, dude, where did you find this stuff? Yeah. And yet, what'd you say?
That guy's an encyclopedia about
unreal. Like when he used to write that column and like it would be like, oh, like the 30 recent metal bands I'm listening to this week. And I would know like 2 of them. And I'm like, I think I'm pretty internet savvy.
As far as like new bands, so I'm not gonna say like I don't check out new bands because I do. Like I am on that new Fiddlehead record. I'm obsessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
And End on End, a straight edge band from Minneapolis, super sick. Listen to that a bunch. But like, yeah, as far as new music goes, I feel like a lot of it's like one listen, and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking sick. But then I pull out the phone, when I'm driving or whatever, I'm like, what am I gonna listen to?
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind.
Stephen Jenkins. How about you, Riley? What are you listening to these days?
That new Zone Zero single is fucking sick.
True. Oh yeah.
Really into that. What else? I still really like that Loathe record a lot. I just found this band called Bleed.
From New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like members of like Narrowhead or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A really good EP. Also, Soul Blind. Have you heard that EP?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's sick. The Smashing Pumpkins vibes on that are everything I need. Like,
Speaking of Narrowhead, that record's great too.
Haven't checked that out, but
really good.
Into New Turnstile has been on for me quite a bit, honestly.
I fucking love that album. I love everything they do because everything they do, they go in a new direction. They just say, fuck it, we're gonna go this way. And somebody said to me, well, it's just like 311. And it was one of our Tim and I's mutual friends, like, kind of sounds like 311. I looked at him like, yo, you got a fucking problem with 311? Right? Really? We're gonna talk really? You're gonna talk shit? Like, no. How do I kick this guy out of the Slack group?
We were talking about it at Jam, and it's like Turnstile to me seems like they're gonna be like a gateway band for hardcore kids. And it's like, if Turnstile is the next hardcore gateway band, then there's gonna be a lot of fun fucking bands in the future. Like,
yeah,
it's so unbelievably fun. Everything about that record just makes me smile and like want to be with my friends and like dance around and shit.
Yeah,
kind of like how your new record is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like the record I like when it's officially out on my Apple Music, it'll be the record I put on when like cleaning or something, because it's just gonna make me want to, like, that's a weird thing to say, but like it's just something fun to listen to. It's gonna keep me moving,
It's one of the rare albums I will actually hit repeat, and I just let it play and just keep going and going. And it's a lot of fucking fun. I think Jay is, and I'm very surprised at this, Jay. I think you really miss the aesthetics though, like with the logos and like all that stuff. Like, oh, dude, I'm all in. I love it. The whole package and all that. I love it. I think that's fucking great, right?
I was telling Nathan before when he showed me the 2-song thing, I'm like, I love the album cover of that. Like, it's just like so like new metal revival thing. It looks great. Like, it's not fancy. It looks great. And it's like, you don't have to be fancy, because when it looks like that, it's just like, you're like, this record's got to be fun. And it makes you want to listen to it. Like, if I seen that scrolling by, I'd be like, click. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when I see a record that's just like the new Rivers of Nile record, like you could just tell that's a death metal record. You know what I mean?
Dude, when they posted that new album art, I was like, damn, this new Harry Potter movie looks fucking crazy.
Exactly, right? But like and even the album cover for the new record, I'm like, yeah, I mean, they kept with the aesthetic of it, and I love it. I mean, it's great.
It is kind of funny how we all love to think that we're all so different and we're doing things that are unique, and at the same time, we do become kind of like hysterical stereotypes, right? Like there was somebody posted the flyer for what is it? It's Incantation, Sanguisugabog, I Am, and who's the headliner? Nile.
Yeah.
And
Nile.
one of the comments was, and it was about Sanguisugabog's logo. Somebody posted like, dude, that bottom band, that just looks like a pile of spaghetti. What the fuck is that? And I started laughing. Like the album is great, but it's like, you know, we are kind of stereotypical in some regards.
Knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they
with that
know.
shit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they are 100% aware. 100%.
Like that's kind of our vibe on some shit too. It's like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like when the fucking vampire in our music video is wearing a fucking what's that shit from Dragon Ball Z on their face?
Yeah.
Like we know what we're doing. Like that's fucking yeah.
There was another podcast that we were mentioned on. I won't mention it by name, but their thing is they listen to bands' new releases. Like they pull a name out of the hat, and they didn't even put Flashback in the hat, but it came up in the topic, and it took over their entire fucking show. Like they talked about us for 45 minutes, just going back and forth. Like, is this band serious? Like, what are they doing? And we're sitting there listening, laughing our asses off. Like, yeah, we're passionate as hell about this, and like clearly we're putting in the work, but we know what we're doing. Like we know there's like there's humor behind it.
Yeah.
Like, there's gotta be.
Please tell us the name of that off air so I can listen.
Off air. Yeah, off air. I definitely want to listen to that.
It's
So that we
very
can
funny listen. They roast us extremely hard. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I want to go back a little bit. You guys did I don't know if it was actually live. Maybe it was just like a video that made it look like that. I think the dude from up in Canada, he has a podcast as well.
Is it Scoped Exposure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he do a video for you guys? Like a live video?
About a year ago.
Yeah, that came out really well.
Thanks. Yeah, we we recorded that like off the floor or whatever, and like did that stream, and then like once Spencer from Scoped Exposure had like edited it, like as in like sequenced the clips and everything, he actually sent it to me to like add all of those like glitches and shit throughout like the whole because like we wanted like because we have that video for Born Again where there's like glitches happening on like the whole video, so we wanted to kind of have that carry over to the live stream. So I just like basically hacked the whole video and glitches.
Yeah, it sounds really good too.
Yeah, that's our buddy Chris Demas who records all of our stuff. He came and did the sound for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say who did the record because it sounds really good.
Yeah, Chris fucking knows what he's doing with that recording shit. He's the best, and he's just such a homie.
Now, you guys coming from bands like Stepping Stone and stuff like that, like, do your boys like rag on you guys like, oh, you're doing fucking new metal?
No. Dude, if they did, they wouldn't be our boys.
That's true. True. But does it get to the point where you're just like, okay, I get it. Like new metal is fucking a bad word. But like I think a lot of kids these days are just like, they want to love it, but they feel like they can't, you know?
Yeah. Totally. Well, like that's what I was saying before. Like when I was a super ultra metalhead, like I like fucking would be like secretly watching new metal shit like at night, like also hating on it relentlessly.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like our friends and shit, like our close friends, like we're all on the same vibe about music and like we fucking love this type of shit. But I've definitely had homies from like whatever, like people that I've known in music that I like don't show with much anymore, but like kind of see them around, and they'll be like, you know, like not my thing, but like fucking stoked for you or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand why it wouldn't be your thing. It's a fucking new metal band, but like,
yeah, you guys don't like Fun?
Yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah,
like,
right?
Well, you don't like fucking Break Stuff by fucking Limp Bizkit? Who doesn't like Limp Bizkit? Terrorists.
Yeah.
That's don't like Limp Bizkit, right?
See, I was short to hate on Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. Like, just fucking smell the roses, have some fun,
dude. I think we're looking around on Limp Bizkit right now because he's riding this new wave. I think he's putting on a new album soon, and like,
yep,
I think people are genuinely like just stoked on it.
Nathan, I think they're riding a fucking high, right? Like, so Tim and I had tickets to the Asbury show, and we got there, and we were there when they canceled it. Like, we were both like fucking like crushed. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're watching the band's like sound check. I think between releasing, you know, Dad Vibes, and then they played Lollapalooza, and there was that huge fucking reaction, right? I said somebody needs to put me in touch with Fred Durst because your next two moves are release a single, open a merch store, announce the name of the album. Right? Announce the album and the date. I said at that point, the trajectory is going through the fucking ceiling because they don't sell any merch. I bought a t-shirt. I told Tim, I bought it from like some fucking Russian guy who was all shady on eBay. It's definitely a bootleg. I ordered like a 5X. It fits like a 2X. And I'm like, but you know what? Like they don't have any merch. And between him and the glasses and the wig, right? And then the Lollapalooza performance, which if you watch that video, they can still play. Like they can literally still play.
Dude, and it's probably like nothing to them. Like they just fucking execute, you know?
Yeah, I think Wes Borland is up there on autopilot, right? Like when you watch him play, I mean, he's a fucking amazing guitarist. But when you watch him play, he's just going there, hitting the fucking whammy bar for that one. What is it? In Hot Dog, where he hits it and makes a weird effect coming out the end. It's like they know what they're doing. But yeah, I think you're right, Nathan. I think that could be really huge, like and totally cement new metal again.
So weird that Lollapalooza did so well, because when you look at some of the other bands that were playing Lollapalooza, like
the Arcade Fire.
Yeah, it's so fucking indie, and then Limp Bizkit comes out and it's down. I kind of love it. Like people are just and being like, fuck it. Like I've been in a pandemic for too long. It's time for me to like Limp Bizkit.
Right. They play the fucking Mission Impossible soundtrack, people. Let's go. Let's party. Bring out Tom Cruise on the fucking motorcycle. Let's party. So
I want to talk about the riffing on this new record. I don't remember what you play. What do you play, Riley? I'm sorry.
I play guitar.
Okay, I'm glad you do. You can definitely tell in the riffing. Like I hear some of the chords, especially in Crack in the Mirror, and I'm like, whoever wrote these riffs was definitely in a hardcore band before, because you can hear that riffing, and I love how you guys put them riffs into the new metal sound. It sounds fucking perfect.
I haven't played in many hardcore bands before.
What's the tuning in? Let me ask you that.
Drop C.
All right. So when you're barring them chords, you add your pinky down on the third, right?
Yeah. So like
exactly. There you go.
For like fuck, if you want to like talk about Crack in the Mirror riff, like the big chords riff in the chorus or whatever, like I was really trying to channel some Linkin Park shit, and they play in a drop tuning, and then when you add your pinky to like 2 frets above and you get that suspended chord, like that's
exactly
hybrid theory shit.
And that's textbook Buried Alive stuff. And I mean it is like if you go and listen to Death of Your Perfect World, they do all them suspended chords in there. And as soon as I heard that stuff, I was like, I fucking love that.
It's funny the crossover between those two bands doing the same shit.
Can you imagine them touring together, right? Like Vogel, right? Linkin Park is fucking on stage, and you have Vogel coming out, grabbing the mic and saying, "We need more stage times, times." Well, right? Like
I don't know if I don't think they were in drop C, but even in a standard tuning, you could still add another note in there that suspends the chord. Yeah. So instead of the regular power chord, you just put it down another one.
Yeah, it's just like a power chord on top of a power chord.
Exactly, yeah. And you get the same sort of sound. But upon listening to the new record, I was like, I love how they're doing that, because that's just a good chord, and I think it adds to the vibe of the song as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that shit, because it's like it's still a heavy chord, but it adds like this tension to it that's like really emotional, and like you find that in like songs and Linkin Park songs, like kind of what gives it that vibe. Yeah, it's interesting because like so much of like my riff writing background, like I said, comes from like fucking death metal, you know what I mean? Like so extreme, and like something I like about Flashback is like learning how to write just a more straightforward, like catchy riff, but then trying to make it colorful by adding in like weird little chords that like switch it up just a bit, because that's the shit that I live for, is like weird chords that are like nice, you know?
Yeah. And so instead of playing all major, you add minors in, and then you get that fuller sound, or vice versa.
And like, man, I know fucking shit all about theory, and like I'm a guitar teacher, and I don't know fucking anything about theory really.
Dude, I couldn't tell you any chords, and I've been playing guitar since I was in middle school. I'm 38, dude.
Guitar, man, like once you know shapes, like just learn fucking cool sounding shapes and then move them around, and like
square, triangle,
rhombus.
Yeah, dude. No, it's fun. You just add your finger somewhere, and you're like, that doesn't really sound like it's in tune or a chord, but it sounds cool to me.
If it sounds cool, it fucking sounds cool. Like
Exactly.
If it sounds cool to you, somebody else will find it cool. All right. So
Yeah.
now I gotta ask my typical interview question. It's like the interview stopper because everybody gets stumped, right? So Flashback goes on tour and you guys get to pick who you open for and who opens for you. So you're middle of the bill. And you get to say, okay, I want to open for this guy, but I want this band to open for us. Nathan, who do you take? And I'm gonna get you, Riley. You're gonna get your chance too. But Nathan, I'm gonna start with you. Who do you guys sandwich yourselves between?
Man, we have talked to Zone Zero a lot about just taking over the world together. So I just gotta give my boys a shout out. Zone Zero is taking the opening spot.
Okay.
Sorry. And then for a headliner, shit, I think it would be a dream to do Deftones. I think that would be an insane bill.
That would be a really awesome bill.
I would go there in a second, and I think
Yep.
Jordan would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think Jordan would be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Yeah.
yeah, fuck. That's kind of my answer too. But I mean, if we're doing that, then like fucking let me open for Slipknot, and let me get opened by if they're down.
If they consent.
I don't know. Fuck. Let me get opened for by Soulblind, I guess. Like, yeah, like just
That band's
Okay.
some
Okay.
fucking like adjacent like new metal band that I fuck with who like is probably like bigger than us, but like fucking I don't know, like
Yeah. That would be, you bring up an interesting point, Riley. Like, I miss mixed bill shows, right? Like I really do miss the days of, I think one of the best mixed bill shows I ever saw was, I think it was Dillinger Escape Plan, Isis, Zayo, and Candiria, maybe? Which is kind of, if you think about it, they're all hardcore, but it's kind of fucking wild because Isis came out. Everybody was like, get these guys off the stage. Like, the guys played one chord over the last 10 minutes. Like, get them off the stage.
just weird enough, but like also just adjacent enough where it works. Because like
Yes.
Isis now kind of have like a similar vibe, I'd say.
Yeah.
Dillinger is weird enough to play with Isis, even though they're on a whole other fucking wavelengths.
Yeah, and this was Dillinger. This was Dimitri, no stage lights, flame breathing, and strobes. So it was totally like what I was not prepared for what I was about to see. I was like literally in the back, like, what the fuck is going on? Because they're playing, and when the strobes go off, you just see people swinging on each other in a giant mosh pit. It's like, Jesus Christ, like this is like a prison riot. Like, is somebody filming this? Jesus.
I can't imagine seeing Isis going into Dillinger. Like, I would need therapy after that. That's
It was
Dimitri
geez.
was their best vocalist. I don't care what anyone says.
I like Pucciato's early stuff. Like Miss Machine is great, but then to me they kind of fell off. But I would love, speaking of that though, I would love to see like new metal adjacent stuff on a mixed bill. You know what I mean? Like I can imagine, right?
Upcoming tour we're doing, like we're doing a hardcore tour, and we're just smack dab in the middle of all these shows. We're touring
Awesome.
Constraint, who are just like a capital HC hardcore band, and Gates to Hell, who are like fucking evil people music, and then us, like that's a mixed bill right there.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so you're gonna have brutal metalcore stuff, and then in between it'll have that happy vibe, and then it goes back to brutal metalcore.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And then on the second half of the tour, we're touring with these bands from California, Jawstruck and Out of Pocket, who are just hardcore bands. And like I think after so long of not seeing music, everyone was fucking so over the 7-band bill thing, and that's how you get mixed bills, really. I think.
Yeah.
I think after not going to shows for so long, I think people are going to welcome it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think at this point anybody will go see anything live. So it's like this is the time to do the mixed bills, to do the hey, doors are open at 6, first band's on at 6:15. Get there because we're playing straight through to 11. Like I think this is the time to do it. And I think that there is enough. Even the people who don't want to talk about a new metal revival are talking about a new metal revival. Like you said, you had one podcast talking for 40 minutes, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what love us or hate us, you're still talking about us, right? So I think there is a definitely a window there, right? And when I look at you guys, when I look at Zone Zero, when I look at Purity, when I look at 13, when you look at some of the stuff that like Cane Hill, Blood Youth, Blind Spot from, did you see that, Tim, by the way? They just put out a new song.
Yeah.
Like Crossbreed. I think they're getting ready to put out a new song, right? And to me, like that's the epitome of new metal, right? You know, white dudes in dreads, they all wear jumpsuits, glow in the dark tattoos, right? But it was, I mean, for those of us that were around back then, like that was just, it was just part of it, right? Like it was, you didn't even think about it. It was just, oh, look, and there's the turntable guy. Oh, look, he's got an angle grinder. Oh, he's shooting sparks into the audience. It was just, it was part of it. It was part of it, you know?
Hey, you guys going to bring an angle grinder on tour?
It would be a construction performance at the same time.
Well, yeah, your bass player is
building machine.
Yeah, right. Nathan gets stopped at the border. Sir, why do you have this angle grinder? I do construction. Right? Like how confused would the border patrol be? Right? You got a guitar in one hand and an angle grinder in the other. You're like, yeah, I do construction. And
any other questions?
Yeah.
so how big is the new metal scene in where you guys are from in Canada, or Canada in general?
Non-existent.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
It's the flashback island.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's good to be the first band that's really putting it out there, because maybe more bands will see that and you'll get more of a,
yeah,
you know.
Maybe. I mean, like, yeah, like we're just fucking playing with hardcore bands and kind of being new metal, I guess. Like, it's a fucking absolute risk of a genre to try to take on.
Yeah.
And I imagine there will be like some pretty like new metal influenced bands like popping up over the next few years, because it's like it's finding its way into so much stuff now. Like think about how big of a band Spirit Box is. Like,
dude,
right.
Look at the aesthetic of some pop stars right now.
Yeah,
It's
Billie Eilish looks like she stepped out of a Typo Negative video some days. So it's like, yeah, it kind of works.
And like, I think that just like all has to do with like some of the people that are fucking like starting bands now are people that would have grown up in the early 2000s. Like,
yes,
our nostalgia. It's like this is the shit that I thought was cool when I was in fucking elementary school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
there's a generation raised on this stuff as an honest influence of their taste and their sound. It's more natural, right? Like, so I'm even older than Tim, right? And I remember where, like, you know, you showed up at a fucking hardcore show with a Slipknot shirt on. Somebody was going to fucking run their mouth the whole time and make you feel like an asshole. And it's like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, these motherfuckers are selling out arenas, right? Like, and I love my VFW all hardcore. I love it. I fucking love it. Right. Tim and I were just talking about before you guys joined. I finally broke down and bought a dresser because I have all my fucking t-shirts, band t-shirts and steamer trunks. I was finding shit I didn't even know I had. Like, when did I get this fucking Desolated shirt? Like, oh God, put that in there. Like, I found like shit from Too Pure to Die, like old Too Pure to Die. I found an OG Curl Up and Die shirt. I found an OG Hellfest shirt from the last Hellfest, which, by the way, if either of you wear a fucking size extra large from the, what is that, 2001, which is really like a large, send me your fucking mailing address and I will send it to you, because there ain't fucking no way it's going to fit on this guy, but I will give it to you, right? If you're going to wear it, if you promise to wear it on tour, I will give it to you. Just send me a fucking address. But like, I love it. But at the same time, it's like, yo, new metal is just fun. It's just fun, right? And Tim and I were joking. We're like, we get drunk and we do Delusions of Grandeur. We're like, yeah, we're gonna do New Breed Fest. It's gonna be like Ozfest, and it's gonna be Zone Zero, Purity, Flashback. We're gonna get 13. We're gonna get all the bands that we've talked to so far. But like, yo, just pile all these guys into a fucking venue. Let's have a party and see what happens. I guarantee you, people would fucking show up. It wouldn't be the angry old guys. It wouldn't be the angry old guys who are like, oh, fucking Slipknot's not there. I'm not gonna go. Shut up. It would be a whole generation of younger people who are like, yo, fuck it, let's just have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be great.
I would love just a gathering of the new metal freaks. Like, let's fucking go. Let's ride. Like, everybody all in. That'd be so fun.
Jay basically said you guys are playing, so now you have to play.
Yeah, right. We haven't figured out if it's Atlantic City or Philly yet. I gotta call Joe Hardcore and ask him, yo, can we do a new metal show in Philly? Would you be mad?
Are you guys coming through Philly on your tour?
Not on this one, but I think in the new year, definitely gonna make it happen.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Have you guys been to Philly?
Stepping Stone played there, I think only one time. We played at a record store.
Was that Creep
Creep.
Records? Yeah.
Yeah, fun little city.
It's a good city.
Yeah,
Fuck
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if new metal's
let's
big in the
go!
city, but what'd you just say?
I said fuck the Eagles though.
Oh,
okay.
here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk. Wait. Well, are we gonna talk football? Hold on. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Tim, go on.
No, we could talk for a minute about why fuck the Eagles. What is it? Buffalo?
Oh please, this is Baltimore, baby.
Oh, okay.
Baltimore. How did you end up a
strange.
Baltimore fan in Regina?
Riley, who's your team?
I'm a faithful New York Jets fan.
Yikes.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Good luck.
Everybody take a minute to pray for Riley because I grew up in North Jersey, right? And
I'm fucking sorry.
everybody in North Jersey.
Sanchez era.
Oh, the butt fumble. Everybody in North Jersey, New York falls into two. It's stereotype. They fall into two buckets. There is the one bucket which is Giants, Knicks, Yankees, right? That's the kind of bandwagon bucket because those guys actually win fucking championships. The other bucket, and the Rangers, New York Rangers. The other side is the Jets, the New York Islanders, and the Brooklyn Nets, because those guys never win, and it's like, ooh, and then somebody says they're a Jets fan, you're like, ooh.
See,
I feel sorry for you.
I'd take that roster, but I'd switch the Nets for the Knicks. I'd say I was a pretty big Knicks guy, and I like the Mets quite a bit.
Oh, and the Mets, yeah, the Mets was the other other team where it's like, yo,
the Islanders are doing quite a bit better than the Rangers nowadays. Like the Rangers kind of fucking dropped the ball quite a bit, it seems.
Yeah, no, they have, but back when I was growing up, right back in the fucking 90s, I'm so old. It was like Rangers were the thing, like they were like the franchise to root for. But yeah, it's the Jets, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't say Cowboys, or I would have ended the meeting for all.
Oh no, fuck the Dallas Cowboys. Like
There you go. I like you now.
I weirdly got into the Jets when they got Brett Favre. I don't know why the Jets, but it did. Got Mark Sanchez right after, and they kind of had a good little run for a sec there. And
Yeah, I think the
They've definitely
Jets
had some
ruined
moments.
the Jets ruined Brett Favre's career because he started, getting stupid with a cell phone. So
Was that the dick pic years with the
Yeah.
what's her name? Yeah.
wait,
I mean-
fuck, I forgot about that. Holy shit.
and nobody talks about it, so he's lucky.
Yeah, but think about it. Like nowadays, I can't wait till we end up with to the United States ends up with a presidential candidate who has nudes floating around on the internet, because we're getting to that point, right? Like we are getting to that point. It's just accepted. Like everybody has said somebody else some sort of questionable content. So it's
the president has an OnlyFans. Could you imagine
please
that shit?
don't send that to Trump, right? He's been kicked off everywhere else on the internet, right? Maybe
Oh my
OnlyFans is
God,
his
dude.
last like fucking. Oh my God, Donald Trump's OnlyFans. Imagine it's like him doing his hair and shit, right?
No
Eating the
way.
fucking McDonald's he eats every day. Jesus
The
Christ.
only way he's gonna be able to get a statement out onto the internet.
Holy shit! There
He's
you go.
already fucking printing off these wild, unhinged statements and handing it off to some assistant.
How fucking insane is that? Do you think he's sitting there in an office just typing it out? Like, yeah, they're gonna read this one, they're gonna read it, and then he hits Control P, and it comes out of the printer, and he hands it to somebody, and he's like, "Distribute this," and you're like,
Yeah,
"What?" Ah.
I love them. I love when people from. Yeah, the connections are like jumping into each other, so we keep talking over each other.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's
No,
not
it's
your
not your
fault.
fault, yeah.
So let's just do this before we talk about Trump and shit. So, the EP, it's coming out. What's it coming out again? Is it called Homie Shit?
Yeah, Homie Shit Magazine. It's
Okay.
it's a record label from Toronto.
Okay.
Hardcore for the most part, but they dip their toes in other shit.
What-
It's Homie Shit.
Yeah. What? So you guys are putting that on tape and stuff?
We're doing CDs and cassettes.
Okay, I figured that.
It is true to that 2000s format with the CDs.
Nathan, I'm waiting for somebody to reprint a mini disc. I'm waiting for the mini disc. Zao did the Nintendo cartridge, and they did the floppy. I'm waiting on the mini disc. Somebody's got to do it.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be us. We did fucking drives last time.
Oh, there you go. Do an
Awesome.
8-track.
I wonder, are there any 8-track presses left? I don't even know.
Probably not.
That's our own new format. We'll figure it out.
So what is the after the EP comes out? What is your guys' plan? I mean, you're going out on tour, obviously, but after that, are you guys just going to hit the ground running? I mean, like, you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but like, does Flashbacks, is that band going to step on like bands like Stepping Stone and stuff? Like, are you guys putting this band in the forefront?
Yeah, Stepping Stone was just a stepping stone for Flashback.
Okay.
No, I do want Stepping Stone to continue. I'm not too sure what the future of Stepping Stone looks like at the moment, but I think we're still going to be a band. I just don't know if we're going to grind as hard. Flashback is definitely, we're going to fucking grind. We're doing this Midwest, West Coast, Canada, US tour. In the new year, we're looking at going to Europe and then East Coast US. We're trying to just fucking go all over the place because there's new metal freaks all over the world.
Dude, absolutely.
Way more than people would imagine. Way more than people would imagine.
We've when we released that 2-song promo, we posted it on like some new metal Facebook pages, and like the member count on those is insane. It's more than I've ever seen on any hardcore adjacent like fucking like gathering or whatever. It's crazy, and like they did great. People ate it up. It was awesome.
Are you guys on the Reddit as well?
Yeah, the new metal subreddit. We posted like the again video there, and one of the moderators fucking loved it, and they
Sean, yeah. They you want to talk about explosions? They reached out to us when they hit 10,000 members, and that was like what, Tim, 7-8 months ago, something like that. Now they're up to like 13.5 and change, and it's growing like wildfire.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a good spot for you guys.
When they hit 10,000, that's sick. Like good.
Yeah. And we've I'll be honest. I mean, and anybody who's listening or watching the show knows, like, we have raped and pillaged that board for guests, for people to come on. We've had people come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that." The New Metal Jeopardy episode we just did, that was a guy from New Metal Reddit.
I saw you guys did that today. I cannot wait to check that out.
Oh, I got fucking crushed. Holiday Kirk just beat the snot out of me and Tim. He really did. Which, by the way, if you haven't checked his album out, it's just titled Holiday Kirk. He literally grabs all the new metal and pulls it in. And then like in one song, he sounds like Ghost Man. I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, he does it brilliantly. And he is more high energy than me and Tim combined. Like, he's nuts. But yeah, the new Metal Jeopardy was from a guy from Reddit. We have the International New was from a guy from Reddit. We have an upcoming obscure new metal where we literally go down the rabbit hole, guys. Like, we find this. Orion found us stuff that I have never heard of in my life, and I was around for new metal when it was a thing the first time, and like, he had us dumpster diving for shit. Like, but a lot of it comes from the guys. We have a snot deep dive with Noah, who's starting to write like PR pieces. Like, a lot of people who are just really fun to talk to. Next week, what is next? Is next week Supercharger, Tim? We're defending it. We have somebody showing up on the show to defend Machine Head's Supercharger. They're going to defend the album and why it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
I love that so much.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really fun, to your point, right? There's a lot of really fun people having fun with this. And it's like, well, why wouldn't we want to lean into this? Let's have a good time and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys have any? Are you guys writing songs already?
Yeah. Then I think the next move is a full length, and we're already pushing it.
Fantastic.
What would you guys say to like say like a big label comes around and they say we're interested? Are you guys in that boat where you would take that on, or do you think you should stick to what you're doing now?
Man, how could we say no? I think we'd absolutely take that. That would just like enhance, like our realm of what we could do. I think it would just take it to a whole other level.
Yeah, it puts Canada on the map for you too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like being in Regina, just working with homies, like it's a dream. It's obviously the most fucking fun on the planet, but it definitely has a feeling. And I think, obviously working with a bigger label, it would definitely grow like our man. Words are hard for me right now, but like it would definitely
No, that's
No,
fine.
we get you.
do. You know?
Yeah, we get you.
Yeah, I think when this EP comes out, I think you're gonna turn a lot of heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now you got me thinking though, like when I think of vintage new metal, who came from Canada? Slaves on Dope? Slaves on Dope?
That's the one that I can think of. Fuck, that's a good band.
Yeah. I saw them open for Fear Factory. Yeah.
Dude.
Who
Yeah.
else?
No, it's some Canadian ones, but Slaves on Dope is fucking good.
And I'm gonna Google Canadian new metal real quick and see.
Yeah, do that. See what you come up with.
Now you got to be kind of curious. Like Pulse Ultra, was that Canada? No.
I just got flashback. Number 1, Finger 11.
Oh, okay.
Really? Okay.
Fuck.
Is Kitty from Canadian?
Yeah,
London,
Kitty's-
Ontario.
Kitty's
Yes, sir.
Canadian.
Kitty. Yeah, Kitty.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, Kitty. Yeah.
Kitty's Grace are from Canada. That's a fucking badass band. I'm gonna say it.
Is that a new metal band?
Definitely new influence.
Who is it again?
3 Days Grace.
Kitty's Grace.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of
Like
Pulse Ultra. Pulse Ultra is from Montreal. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
Sick. I'll have to check that out.
Man, is that Playmo band Canadian? I know they're French.
Which band?
No, they're like French.
Yeah, they're
Like we. Yeah.
That's a sick band though.
Yeah, funnily enough, I had never heard of them until we had Holiday Kirk on. He sent us a list for the International New Metal episode where he was like, yo, you guys got to check out these bands. And it was literally like a fucking like encyclopedia entry. And I'm like, Tim, who is this fucking guy? And he showed up and he was like, and he went 9,000 directions at the same time. But like Playmo, I had never heard of. So he mentions it. We check it out. I listened to Jamie Josta's podcast and he was going on about how he couldn't believe like they were playing some festival in France and he's like, a new metal band was playing above us. And he goes, what was that band's name? Playmo. And I just started laughing. I'm like, sorry, buddy. We love tough guy hardcore, right? We love destroy everything, empty promises. But at the end of the day, new metal just kind of is a little bit more fun to bounce your head to. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that Playmo band, I think, like, as far as new metal bands I've discovered outside of, like, my teenage years, I think Playmo is who I've fucked with the most.
Yeah. I think for me, and Tim and I talk about this from doing this show. I mean, like, we were around back in that day, but there was too much, or you couldn't keep up. Some of the stuff that we found was amazing. Like, I found Down the Sun, which was the band signed by Clown from Slipknot. That was fucking great. The Ultra Spank guys, the band they did afterwards, Low Pro, was great. Like this shit that there was so much. I don't know. I started listening to Poison the Well and Lamb of God, and I was like, new metal. And now I look back and I'm like, Jesus, I was one of those obnoxious fucking elitists because there was still good stuff coming out in the early aughts, right? It was right about up until 2004. That's when things tipped over. Yeah. All right. Well, we've hit an hour. And we don't want to take up an entire Saturday night. So, Nathan, Riley, if people want to find out more information about Flashback, where do they go? Where should they look?
Yeah, for sure. You can check us out on Instagram. I believe that tag is at flash.back.new. A lot of motherfuckers are calling us Flashback. One word. It is Flashback. 2 words. Make sure you get that underscore or something in there. We're on Twitter, all that shit. We should be on Facebook, but we're just not for whatever reason.
Facebook's for old people. It's for old people. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but old people love new metal.
This is true. This is true.
You're talking the two of them right now.
Yeah, no, Flashback New on most social media platforms.
Awesome.
And the record comes out October 1st?
October 1st.
Yeah. Okay. So next Friday. Okay, Friday.
All right, cool. All right, so on behalf of Tim, myself, I want to thank you, Nathan. I want to thank you, Riley, for coming on. This has been fucking great. We're hoping that this is the first of many conversations we get to have over the show before we meet in person when you guys do your East Coast tour. On behalf of Nathan, Riley, myself, and Tim, I want to thank all of you listeners for tuning in once again. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at @NewBreed_podcast, Gmail. Email us if you like what you heard. If you don't like what you heard, Tim and I do enjoy the correspondence. newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. We have a Spotify. We have a bunch of playlists out there from previous episodes. The international new metal we talked about. We have an episode out there. We have a whole bunch of stuff. We have a whole bunch of playlists. So check it out. And last but not least, we do have a Facebook group, and I feel like I have to give the disclaimer that it is not New Breed, the Christian rapper from the United Kingdom. We are a new metal podcast, so please keep that in mind. So once again, on behalf of Tim, myself, Nathan, and Riley, I want to thank all of you watchers and listeners for tuning in. And until next time, this is New Breed Podcast saying cheers.